you have to be honest about those kinds of messages, what you hear on these videos of how these ICE agents are talking about American citizens, whether they shoot them or not. You are when you just say if
I'm
you
being
play
dishonest.
What am I
dishonest about? You
have not said ICE has made mistakes.
Would you not admit the primary error was never cooperating with ICE, and that led to the environment for violence? You can argue about what ICE agents said or texted. That would never have happened if you hadn't played by the rules.
That woman didn't do anything.
So none of this again.
And you told me it's a big hoax about the woman on her way to her doctor's appointment. She also testified. Turned out that wasn't a hoax either. If you have
again.
In this video, watch Jessica Tarlov hold the line against a 4-on-1 pylon. She dismantles the lawless narrative and forces the table to admit the uncomfortable truth about why ICE really targets blue states. Let's watch this together, and I'll give my 2 cents at the end.
I mean, I hate to say it again, but I guess as we're doing the same topic, I have always said that if ICE shows up and they show you proof that they are trying to pick up someone who has committed a crime in this country, not the crime of crossing the border, but committed a crime here, especially against an American citizen, that you should cooperate. And maybe things would have gone differently. But the analysis that I'm hearing of, the wild protesters versus law and order just does not sync with reality. And Tom Homan admitted as much in his first press conference when he called it at 7 o'clock in the morning. And he said, I would not be here if mistakes were not made. We will see what happens in the investigations into the 2 officers shot Alex Preddy and Officer Ross, who shot Renee Good. And they might find that there was bad behavior, that they made mistakes, and that it wasn't the protesters' fault for, hurling her car into him or whatever Alex Preddy was doing. But you have to let that play out. You also have to be clear-eyed about the fact that this is clearly partisan for the president. And you look at what happened in Maine. There were surging ICE agents to Maine, and Susan Collins called up DHS Secretary Noem and said, actually, could you get them to leave? And she said, sure, no problem.
Yeah, why, though?
And Susan,
because she's running for re-election, and she's
but that's partisan. Amy Klobuchar makes a request, go away. Tim Walz says go away. Mayor Fry says go away. Tina Smith says go away. That doesn't matter to the president because they bat for the wrong team. But because he wants to help Susan Collins and he knows what a loser of an issue this is for the administration, he makes sure to protect her. And that's borne out across the board. Everyone makes fun of you. You want to go to the polling. The new Quinnipiac poll today, absolutely brutal for the administration on this. 63% disapproval of ICE, 58% want Noem out. But you talked about the hearing yesterday where they held up the poster about the scalps that they want. And Tom Homan is the only one on there who I think thus far I don't have a problem with. But they also had testimony from people who have been American citizens who have been victims of this overreach by ICE, like the woman from Chicago, Marimar Martinez, who was shot 5 times. And the DHS, same thing, comes out and says she's a domestic terrorist. She was trying to use her vehicle as a weapon. Turns out that doesn't hold up at all. And they have text messages from the agent after saying, I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys. You have to be honest about those kinds of messages, what you hear on these videos of how these ICE agents are talking about American citizens, whether they shoot them or not. You are when you just say if
I'm
you
being
play
dishonest.
If you say
what am I dishonest about? You
have not said ICE has made mistakes.
Would you not admit the primary error was never cooperating with ICE, and that led to the environment for violence? You can argue about what ICE agents said or texted. That would never have happened if you hadn't played by the rules.
That woman didn't do anything.
So none of this again.
And you told me it's a big hoax about the woman on her way to her doctor's appointment. She also testified. Turned out that wasn't a hoax either. If you have agents going up to him,
she was a hardcore radical. She was trying to block ICE operations.
Yes.
You can argue over these things all you want. The fact is, you have to come to Jesus and say, if you hadn't cooperated, we wouldn't even be doing this. There'd be 2 people alive if it wasn't for the fact that you guys wanted them dead.
You didn't acknowledge what I said, that they only send ICE into blue cities and blue states to make liberals suffer. Didn't acknowledge that. What?
We got to go. But
Yeah,
one thing I would
bye.
just note is when an American citizen is caught up in an ICE operation, it's a mistake and it is rectified. And the consequence is briefly being detained. When an American citizen
shot.
Let me just finish. When an American citizen fell victim to the immigration policies of the Biden administration, their names were Jocelyn Ngari, Laken Riley, and Rachel Morin. And they are not here to tell the story.
And the only policies that lead to harm are Democrats. We don't push trans. We don't push no cash bail. We don't push any of this stuff that, 13 homeless in New York City. Was that a Republican issue or a Democrat issue?
They weren't even homeless in
It's because you guys didn't have the balls to get those guys out of the cold into shelters. Every single act of compassion
you never change gun laws.
Leads to
school
death.
shootings, you never change gun laws.
All right. Well,
School shootings.
School shootings.
Oh, I'm sorry. No biggie. Just little kids
we
dead.
gotta go.
Who's doing the shootings?
We got to go, and I would just
Doing the shootings.
That's not true.
Got to run.
Adam Lanza was trans?
I would note school shootings are at their lowest point in 5 years.
Everyone's
so
trans.
Thank you.
Bye.
School shootings are at their lowest point in 5 years. Thank you, President Trump says FBI.
The moment Jessica Tarlov brought up Susan Collins and Maine, the energy at the table shifted. This is the silver bullet argument. Jessica pointed out a documented fact. When a Republican senator, Collins, asked DHS to remove agents, they said, sure, no problem. But when a Democrat governor does it, it's treated as insurrection and mob rule. This is why Tarlov is so essential on this panel. The other hosts were busy building a scary story about lawless regimes, but Jessica exposed the bureaucratic reality. Federal law enforcement is being used as a partisan cudgel. Notice how they responded to her facts. They didn't refute the Susan Collins point. Instead, they pivoted to emotional manipulation, accusing her of wanting violence and dead children. That is the tell. When you lose on the facts, the double standard, you attack the morality of the messenger. Jessica refused to take the bait. She proved that if safety was the real goal, the feds would treat Minnesota the same way they treat Maine. They aren't. And now we know why. Do you think the panel had a good answer for the Susan Collins double standard, or did they just deflect? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.